Hey, what's up, Well House Partners community? Jason here. Just want to give you an update on kind of where we are and share with you some really exciting news. I'm going to use some notes just so I can communicate everything that we need to as best as we can. But the news is this: we have been meeting as a lead team and a leadership and have really taken in all sorts of data and things in consideration. And we have come up with a date for when we're going to resume our in-person meetings. And that date is going to be June 21st. And we're excited about that. We're working out some details on location still. We're hoping that we can continue to use the school, but we're not 100% there. And so we're working behind the scenes to figure that out. We do have a plan B. But we're going to wait and share all that when the time comes, if that time comes. And so June 21st is going to be our time to begin meeting together again. And so in light of that, I want to share a few things with you that we want you to know going into that time, and some things to be doing and participating in now between now and then. First, our first step toward this is our house groups. And so what we want you to do starting this week and for the next 3 weeks, so that would be the 7th and then the 14th, we want you to figure out how to host live watch parties on Sunday with your house groups. That would be groups of 8 to 10 to 12 or whatever the number is in your house group. We would love for you to get together and watch Well House at home together. You can share a meal together. You can share communion together. You can watch the service together, and maybe it would make singing a little bit less awkward, or whatever that dynamic has been at your own house. We want you to share that now with your house group. And so by that, you can begin to maybe get comfortable, reacclimated, being around people. I know I'm going to be at a house group this Sunday at 5 o'clock. And so we want to encourage you to do that. So go ahead and begin organizing some live watch parties, leveraging your community groups or your house groups. So as far as the 21st is concerned, we are looking and continuing to gather some guidelines that we want to put into your hands when that date comes. Just some suggestions, recommendations, some safety precautions that we're going to adhere to, and we want to make all of that available to you in its entirety once we get that together in the next few weeks. But there are a few things we already know, and so I want to share a few of those with you so that you can be ready and comfortable when the time comes for that. First, we want you to know that we're going to continue to live stream what we're doing on Sundays for those that will continue at home. And so speaking of that, let me just kind of share. I want you to know that we are all in this together. We have all been in this together from day one, and we're going to continue to be all in this together. And when I say together, I'm talking about all of us. One of our mantras around Well House has been for really its entire time has been together we can do great things. And I know that without a doubt, this season we have done some amazing things together, and this next season we're going to continue to do some amazing things together. But the key word there is together. And so we understand that not everyone is on the same page concerning some of these things. And we also know that not everyone shares the same circumstances, that some of our decisions will be determined by our individual circumstances. But nonetheless, that does not mean that we are not in this together. We are going to seek inclusion in these moments. We know that there's really 3 groups that we're going to go above and beyond to make sure that we continue to make everyone feel included. We know that there is a group that will not be ready to come back in person, and we want you to know that is okay. It is okay to continue to make that decision for you and your family, and we're not in any way, form, or fashion wanting to pressure that decision. And so we're going to continue, like I said, to offer a live stream. Now, it will be different than the live streams that we've been doing. It will be a true live stream on location, mirroring what we're doing on Sunday mornings. And so if you're in that group that says, listen, I'm just not ready, that's okay. We also know that there is a group of people that says, I'm ready and I've been ready. And we understand where you are. And so we want you to know that when you come, we're ready to receive you and work face to face again. And then we know there's a third group that says, we are cautiously ready. And so again, we want to make sure that each of those groups are respected. We want to make sure that we are considerate of everyone in those groups. In fact, we're not even going to call them groups. We're not going to create categories and that sort of thing, but we do acknowledge that there are some of you that are in different places and there are some of you in different situations, and we're going to honor all of those things. And so we're going to do everything we can to continue to create avenues of connectivity and inclusion, regardless of where you're at on this. And so we don't want anybody to feel like, oh no, now that we're going to meet together, if I'm not ready for that, I'm going to be left behind or left out. It is not going to be that at all. We also don't want you to think that just because you're ready that we want to just throw caution to the wind for those who are cautiously ready. So anyway, we just want to be considerate. We want to be respectful in all of that. And so we're not going to elevate one group above the other. We're not going to look at the people who are ready to come and go, oh, well, you fit a certain category, or you're elevated to a certain. We're not doing any of that. And so we're going to continue to be in this together, whether it's from home or whether it's cautious or whether you're completely ready. We're going to include everyone in this, and we're going to work overtime to make sure that happens. And so one of the things that we do want to share with you while we're still working on and ironing out a lot of logistics, there are a few things that we already know that are going to be immediately implemented. And so we want to go ahead and tell you some of those things so that you can at least get some sort of picture of what it might look like when we do return. And like I said, we'll give you all of this via email and probably do another video when we're ready to kind of release all of the things in their entirety. But here's some things that we do know. First of all, no Well House Kids programming. And so what I mean by that is we're not going to have the drop-off that you normally do when you get there with your kids. We just feel like, it's not the best place to start. And so we're going to continue to give you weekly online resources so that you can continue to engage your children and your kids with just this beautiful story of Jesus. We're also going to have individually prepared or individualized resources that you can pick up when you get there on a Sunday morning that can be taken to your seat or to your area. And so it's still a way to engage the kids. But in this, we just want to encourage family style worship, and maybe you can get together and maybe you'll find blessing in that. Who knows? You may be ready to pull your hair out by the end of it. We don't know. But it's an opportunity for us to try something a little bit different out of necessity. And so really, we want you to be responsible for you and your family. And we don't want to put anybody in a situation where they're having to be responsible for something that is out of their control. So we're just not doing any Well House Kids starting out. That will not be a long term. That will be a moving target as we edge closer to the return or the resuming of schools and things like that. And so we'll be watching and working with local school boards and things to see kind of what those policies will end up looking like for us as well. Well House students, however, they're going to begin meeting for their midweek on Wednesday this coming week. And so they're going to resume their in-person gatherings because they're a little smaller in nature this next week. And so we want you to know that about your kids. We care about your kids, and we care about our kids, volunteers, and teachers. And so again, we want to just make you aware of that. However, that's not going to be a long term. It is going to be something that we're going to implement on the front end. Second, I know this is a big deal, and you're going to go, oh my goodness, we're not having coffee. I know that has been one of the things that so many of you have cherished about Well House. We don't just have coffee, we have good coffee. And we're kind of spoiled. For church coffee, we have gone above and beyond. And so we're not doing that, just starting out. We're just going to eliminate that. But you know what? We're going to work in something along the way. We're going to buy Starbucks for you 1 week, and we'll let you know how that's going to work. And so for you coffee fiends, we'll make a way somehow, some way. But don't expect coffee when you come in, which leads us to communion. One of the things that we do every week when we gather together is we just create community in communion. So that's going to look a little different when you come back. We are going to participate in communion together, but it's going to be individually packaged and it's going to be individually distributed. So you won't go to a table and get it. You will be handed that when you arrive, and again, it will be very controlled in the way that it is handled and that sort of thing, but we do want to keep that as an element of what we do because it's just such a beautiful family moment, and so we want to do that. And so we're going to do prepackaged communion. We're going to do hand sanitizing stations, and so when you get there, there'll be multiple places that you can sanitize your hands, in addition to the restrooms that will have soap and those sorts of things. Those things will be made available. Also make sure that anything or surfaces that continue to be touched will be wiped down. As far as masks are concerned, we're going to leave that up to you. We're not going to mandate that. And so just like Walmart or the grocery store, you get to choose that. And so we'll have some of those available for somebody that might want one when they arrive, that might not. But that is, again, a completely up to you thing. And then finally, we know that we're going to space our seating a little bit different. And so we're going to try to create some additional spacing in our seating. If you've been to Well House, you know we love to kind of pack in, and so we're just going to kind of unpack just a little bit, not to the point that it's weird, but we're going to work on some spacing as well. And so I want you to hear that we are excited about this this opportunity to get together, but we do want to ensure that everyone is responsible for yourself and your family. So be responsible. If you don't feel well, don't come. All the rules that you've heard again and again. So be responsible, but be considerate. This is not a place where we're going to, because I may feel a certain way, I'm going to, roll my eyes or look at someone who doesn't feel that way and pass judgment. We're not getting any of that. So if we can be respectful, be considerate, we will go as a staff and leadership, we will go the extra mile to ensure that we're doing everything we can in both of those arenas as well. We're going to be responsible and we're going to be considerate. And then finally, I want you to pray for us as leaders. Can I just tell you, if I'm being really transparent with you, this has not been easy. This entire season has not been easy. It has been full of blessing. And I'm so grateful because God has grown us as a body and He has grown us as individuals. He's grown us as leaders. But it's come at a price. It's not been easy. And I want you to know that leading up to this decision on the 21st was not easy. And it is not easy. And so just pray for us and pray that God continues to give us wisdom. Pray that He continues to put people in our paths that are wiser than we are about certain things. And, we've been so blessed to have so many good voices, medical voices, and a friend of ours from the Red Cross, and so many that have spoken just such good things into us. And we're going to continue to keep our ears open for those things. But we covet your prayers. We want your prayers. We need your prayers. Yes, I love you guys. I can't wait to see you on the 21st, either in person or on screen. I long for the day where we can all be back together and feel good about that. But until then, we are all still going to be in this together. And so we're excited about that. So go ahead and mark your calendars. Get with your house group leaders about those watch parties. And we'll keep you updated as things kind of unfold and materialize. Thank you guys. I love you. We'll see you soon.